shoulders under just a bit. That will lift your heart space more for the focused breath work that we'll do here. Your hands stretch out just at a nice, comfortable angle for you. I like to have my palms up and just releasing and at the same time receiving. Tuck my chin in just a bit here. Close your eyes if that feels good and right for you. Expressing ourselves through our breath. Feeling as much lift in the lower abdomen as possible in our breath. And when you get to the height of that breath, maybe holding a second or so. And then when you release, slowly release. As slow or slower or longer than your inhale. And continue. In this corpse pose, we have that natural curve in our lower spine. So no worries right now about really pulling the navel down into your mat. But when you exhale, you do want to draw it back towards your tailbone. Really feel that expansion and that freedom in your breath as we're in this corpse pose here. Let's do 2 more full slow breaths in and out of our nose. We're going to change it up then a bit. With a reminder to just try to keep tucking the chin gently inward a bit to lengthen that cervical spine. Now we're going to breathe, inhale through our nose. We'll hold that second, and then we'll exhale slowly, modulating the exhale out of our mouths. Okay, so you'll hear a sigh. You'll hear your breath expressed through your mouth. Go ahead and begin that process. Keep going. For some of us, when we're in a group class, some people feel a little embarrassed to have their breath be heard. There's others that have no embarrassment whatsoever to have their breath heard. I keep thinking when I say that about Fernando and some of the guys that were in the class, Mr. Quintana, what was his name, first name? Oh my gosh, I just heard from him. We could hear. So let's, as women, hear our own voices and our own breath and not be shy, demure, afraid of hearing ourselves when we breathe. Now let's take 2 more of those deep, slow, full breaths. Open up your mouth, let it go. Good. And then we'll go ahead and, as much as possible, keep our mouths closed, breathing through our nose. And let's let our legs come in with our knees bent and our heels as close to our hips as is comfortable for you. Your hands now may face downward towards your mat. Open up the fingers wide. And let's work right now at taking that arc out of our spine by pressing down in through the navel and down into the mat with the lower back here. Chin stays tucked. We're going to go in and out with our breath in bridge pose. So feet flat, hands flat, and lift on an inhale. You find that slide between your knees and your chin, and then you exhale down, vertebrae by vertebrae, slowly controlling that exhale. Slowly rising up in the inhale, feeling feet and shoulders and hands take weight, not your neck, not your back of your head. Keep going. Get to know your breath with movement here. You're doing a lot of that in class today. That's what yoga is, trying to find your breath and how it can accentuate the movements that we're doing. When you rise up with that inhale, extend through your belly as well. Big belly. Pull it in as we draw our navel down, lower spine connected to the mat. Let's do 2 more of those slow, full bridge pose, activating our central nervous system. And then let's rise up one more time and hold that. And here I really want to make sure, lift your head off the ground so that I know for sure that you are not putting any pressure in your neck, okay? And then you can gently lower it and just maintain that height of your hips with your weight of your hands, feet, and shoulders, okay? And let's squeeze into our glutes with a few pulses here. You'll see your hips rise up just a bit more. But again, putting that tension in the glutes does not mean that we put that in our necks, okay? And squeezing here, and squeezing. Feeling this maybe tomorrow. Let's squeeze and then hold on the squeeze and really squeeze in. Lift your head a bit, make sure there's no neck pressure. And squeezing in, pressing down with feet and hands, squeezing into our glutes, letting them speak to us tomorrow. Squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. Push down into your feet, squeeze in with your quads, and exhale, slowly releasing out of that. Let that squeeze go in your glutes. Find your lower spine pressed into the ground. And let's pick up one of your feet and take that knee towards your shoulder on that same side. Interlace fingers right underneath that knee. And let's bring with the strength of our arms that knee in closer to our shoulder on that same side. Again, staying tucked in the chin and feeling this in the ascending colon. While we're here, let's go ahead and move circles with the ankle of the bent knee that's coming closer and closer to that shoulder as you continue finding the strength there in your arms to do that. And reversing. Let's get out any of those snap, crackle, pops in our ankle here. And we're breathing. It feels good to be here, to be breathing together. Pulling in a little bit more stronger, that knee into shoulder. And then release from the rotations. Flex your foot there and squeeze in a little bit more. And exhale, release. You'll feel that release of energy in your arms as well as that bind that you had in the hip joint there. And then lift up the opposite foot, beginning to bring that knee towards the same shoulder. Interlace in the opposite way, opposite thumb on top. Each finger will go into the next socket over. And let's begin that nice pull in, finding as much depth as you can with your knee. And that means your hip joint is as well is being activated here. And begin your circles, feeling that in the calf as you continue to squeeze. In, pulling in. Feel the strength in your arms being utilized here. And then exchange the direction opposite way while you still are pulling in. Squeezing in, bringing yourself here, closer and closer, thigh to chest, and then coming into stillness with that foot. Let's pull in a little bit more, shoulders pull down again, no pressure on the neck here as well, and flex your foot, pull and pull and pull, inhale, exhale, release. From that bind, let your foot come down. Feel the blood rushing through your legs and your hands here from that. And then take your hands back down, palms to the ground. And let's cross one knee over the other. And let's just stay here and squeeze in. You're going to really feel that in the pelvic area, okay, the lower pelvic area by squeezing it with your legs. Really good for our urogenital system here. Squeezing as tightly as we can. Find a little more squeeze. And then exhale, release. Take your hands out to the shoulder height about. And after that squeezing, now we're going to release the knees in one direction and see where they end up going, feeling that in the glute, the hip, and take a look, gentle look in the opposite direction of the knees. And take a 2 or 3 breaths here, and let's just let this opening happen. As one hip is externally rotated and one is internally rotated. And then pull in at your navel point. Let that, your navel area, pull your legs back up into center. Your head comes to center as well. And then we're going to release the legs in the opposite way and feel that. That should feel really good after the glute work that we've done already. And really releasing, depending on which side you started with, you're going to be releasing different muscles here. And the hips as well. Both will be happy to be attended to. One more deep full breath here. And with that breath, bring in the knees back up to center. And let's switch out our legs. One leg comes on top of the other. And let's squeeze here as well. Squeezing in as tightly as we can. Squeeze and squeeze. And release on an exhale. And let's go ahead and take the knees, whatever direction you want to start. Open them up to one side as you look over the arm and shoulder, the opposite direction. And just kind of take a scan of what's going on with your body. Where are you feeling this right now? Because depending on what side you let your knees go to, you'll feel it differently than when we go to the opposite side. Like right now, I'm feeling it in my hip flexor, on my right side. I'm going to use my breath and my abdomen to bring up my knees. And then I'm going to exhale them in the opposite direction. Please look over if you can. Nice, easy little neck stretch here as well. And feeling that and breathing that. To about half the class today with floor work and half the class with standing work. Breathe in those knees, bring them on back up. And I'm trying to think if we did the ankle rotation on this side. I don't think so. So go ahead and rotate the ankle, and I might be completely out of sync here on ankle rotations. We may have already done that, I don't know, but do a few ankle rotations here. I think it was when we pulled the knee in, I didn't do the ankle rotation on this side. It comes to me. Sometimes it just comes to me a little bit later. And reverse that ankle rotation. And if you guys were in class and I could hear you, you would be letting me know. But don't have that. Someday we will reunite. All right, let's take that foot off, that leg off, and find ourselves again with a nice flat spine. Lift both feet off the ground and open up your knees. And let's begin here with a nice upside down bug pose, or they call this also happy baby pose. Bug pose is more like this, right? When we've seen dead bugs. So let's do that to begin with. Flex feet, open up fingers wide, and continue letting your knees open up to the outsides. That opens up the hips, but also bringing them inward as well. Keep your hands up in this dead bug pose. Chin to chest just a little bit here. Let's work the abs here somewhat. Begin to lift your head off the ground, just your head. Shoulders are still planted. Legs continue to be flexed. Or you can point if flexing becomes a little bit much, but try to stay active. And then go ahead and lift a little bit more. Maybe some of your shoulder comes off the ground. Starting to feel that in the center core here. Arms are strong too. All right, remember that. And opening up the fingers wide, having focus there will help you to remember to have strong arms. Maybe lift a little bit more, pulling your fingers up towards the ceiling, pulling down your knees a little bit more. So everything's kind of crushing in here, right in our core. See if we can take this and breathe a few more breaths. Pulling these down, fingers reaching up high. 2 more breaths. Slowly lowering back down. And let's go ahead and do a laying down Malasana pose. So hands come to your together, palms, and bring them to heart center. Take your elbows inside your bent knees, and we gently press if there's any more room to open here. And if the pressing isn't right for you, please don't do it, but only if you feel like, yeah, I can go a little bit farther with that little bit of motivation in my elbows. And if you've gone far and you say, wow, I think I could go farther, you can bring your elbows down into the inner thighs a little bit more. But again, I'm just offering these for the different bodies that we have out there and what you might be wanting to do, okay? So this is Malasana pose. And we can also do this with feet grounded. It's very similar to Happy Baby, which we'll move into next. Happy Baby has a little bit more movement in it though. So release your hands and take them to ankles or the outside of your feet, depending on the length of your arms, depending on the flexibility of your hips. This is Happy Baby, right? And I like to take and rock back and forth on the base of my spine here. And that's just a little play time for ourselves. And just as the dogs we look at for different postures and the different animals, babies are amazing. When they start to be on their bellies and push down with their hands and lift their head, they do these beautiful bhujangasanas, cobra poses, right? So observing babies, observing nature, and becoming part of that is expressing yourself with different yoga poses. So come into stillness. Let's open up, the back side of one leg by extending it out. We haven't done a lot of backside leg opening yet. We need to get more of that in here. But open up one side, and if that's a lot, take your hand on the outside of your leg to just support there, okay? And if you want more, you can take your hand on the inside to put a little more weight there. And this is where Lydia said she felt it the other day on the inside of her leg. Not sure what we did that day. But anyways, find what works for you. And if you're still bent a little bit, that's all right too. You don't want to extend any longer or more than your body is open and ready to do today. And then go ahead, bend into that knee and grab the outside of there or wherever you were before. And let's extend where your body wants to go with the other leg. Extending it out, and still keeping the other one bent and the hip open, and finding whatever kind of support or weight you want on the other leg with that hand, okay? And again, staying flexor pointed keeps your leg active. Chin tuck keeps your neck long. A couple breaths here. And then bend back into that knee. And then let's extend both legs out, right? And again, here we are supporting on the outside of our legs to whatever that distance is for our inner legs, inner thighs, and we're pointing or flexing those feet. And again, supporting or taking a hold of some part of our leg here. We're going to raise our head off the ground again. And we're going to raise our shoulders off the ground, part of our spine off the ground, pushing with flexed or pointed feet. We're going to just pull into ourselves here, rounding up. Take your chin towards your chest. Take a couple breaths. Be active in your legs, be active in your core. And then begin to slowly come on back down. Let's take our legs together here and pull in your both knees here and take a hold of yourself with a good hug. Chins tucked. Knees come in a little bit more. And let's go ahead and take the head off the ground and curl and tuck it round into yourself. These really tight little yoga balls, flexing your feet if you like, or pointing. And then rolling down, cross your ankles, and let's roll up 2 or 3 times to seated position. And this is where that pillow might come in handy. If you like to take the pillow and sit down on that, it's going to cushion you a little bit for the work we'll do here seated. The floor that I'm on is a harder floor than I'm used to, so I'm really appreciating using little pillows sometimes for my knees or for being seated like this. So from here, we're going to go ahead and bend our knees and sit up straight with a straight spine. Have our feet about hips distance apart here. I'm going to do a little bit of boat pose here. So from here, hold on right under your knee area, the front side of your knee, and let yourself go back onto your tailbone. That's why this pillow is really feeling good right now. Feel more cushioned than I would. So you're kind of balanced on your tailbone, but your arms are supporting here as well. Then we're going to lift one leg up and extend that out. And your hands both can support that leg. And we want to lift maybe our bodies up a little bit more, trying to lift that leg up closer to our torso. So maybe our torso is moving up, maybe the leg is moving up, And then I want you to curl and tuck and round, trying to get as much closeness, less distance between your forehead and your knee. So curl and tuck your chin in, curl your shoulders forward. Feel that in the back of your leg. And again, we're all going to be at different places here. So just be where you are wanting to be here. And then lifting your head up. Let's go ahead and lower that leg down. Take a hold of both again, and let's find ourselves back on that tailbone. And we'll do a full boat pose here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and lift one leg up. Find it, holding underneath, perhaps sliding a hand down, maybe bringing the leg up a little higher as your body comes up as well. And just find the length first before we go into any kind of trying to get our forehead closer to our knee. And just feel that again, flexed or pointed. If that's a lot, bend your knee. Okay, we may not all be ready again to open like this. And then go ahead, bring your elbows in and curl and tuck and round, getting your chin close to your chest and your forehead and knee coming closer together here. Breathing, feeling that, especially maybe in the back side of the hamstring. And then slowly bringing your torso up, release your leg and bring it down. Hands come here, find that centered place right on your tailbone there. And I'm going to turn this way for the next part. And so we're here. We're going to go ahead and take that balance if we can, and take both feet off the ground. If that's not working, place one foot down and lift the other one up so that we can start to find that balance on the tailbone area. And then if you'd like, you can release one hand, maybe both hands. And we're feeling that in this core area here. And again, you can take one hand down and one up, one foot down and one up. In fact, let's just do that. Let's take the hands off and let's just pedal our feet, one down and one up. Open up your fingers wide here. Feeling that in your center, paddling your feet. Open up the fingers, arms are strong, and then come to stillness. And again, one foot down or one foot up. If you want or can, one foot can straighten, one leg can straighten, the other can straighten, and we can come into full boat. But that's only if that feels right for you. Please only do it if it feels right for you. And let's just be happy here, breathing. And again, you can replace one foot down, you can use your hands, anything to support. You're still going to be getting that core work. And then we'll go ahead and let our feet come down. I'm going to turn back towards you again. And in this position, I want you to come into butterfly, okay, or cobbler's pose. And we're going to have our feet together and our knees apart. And again, we're sitting straight up on our sits bones, on our tailbone here. And after you've determined that straight spine, go ahead and take your hands behind you, fingers pulling away from you, and let them lengthen out. We're going to push down with our hands, push down with the outside of our feet, and we're just going to lift our tailbone, our hips off the ground, if that feels right for you or comfortable. Taking a little bit of arm strength here, weighting into the bones of our arms. And then let's come on back down. And now take your hands and point the fingers towards you. And this may be a lot on your wrists too. So please don't do it if this is affecting your wrists. You can also do this with a fist, okay? And you won't have as much activation of the wrist if you do it on the fist, okay? And let's just lift up one more time. Fingers towards you or away or in fists, and find that weight bearing in your upper body here. And exhale, come on down. Let's keep one leg in, extend the other leg out. And so we have one hip externally rotated here and one leg feeling the back side here. Do a little bit of twisting, and then we'll be working towards getting ourselves off the ground. So take the hand opposite of the bent knee across, place your hand behind you, the other one, and start with a straight spine. Inhale here. And then let's go ahead and look over the shoulder, the back shoulder, and taking a couple breaths here. Feel that in your waist as you release with a straight spine, slowly coming out of that twist forward. And then crossing one hand over to the straight leg, place your hand behind you, straight spine first before you enter that twist. And then go ahead and begin allowing yourself to open up and twisting through that center portion of your body, squeezing into all those organs that need attention too, and then releasing. And I'm keeping both of my feet active, again, with flexed or pointedness. And then from here, we're going to walk forward, right? You may only walk a couple hands forward, and just find that with a straight spine to begin with. And then once you've found your length, go ahead and let your head release. Chin comes towards your chest. Breathing here. Every inhale, you may lengthen a little bit farther forward. And every exhale, you may find more depth there. And then begin to slowly walk your hands back. And let's exchange legs. Bring in one leg and let the other one extend out. Again, in some type of active fashion, okay, with flexed or pointed. We're going to go into that twist again, only on the opposite side. So taking the hand opposite of the bent knee over and crossing the center line of your body, place your hand behind you, sit up straight and tall, and begin your twist. Taking a look over that back shoulder, feeling that in the waistline, pushing through that extended foot and leg, breathing deeply. And releasing with the straight spine, slowly coming back to center, and then coming into the opposite way, crossing over to that extended leg, hand behind you, straight spine, and begin your twist. Maybe feeling a little chiropractic snap, crackle, or pop there. Chiropractic meaning now you don't have to go, not now you've got to go. It's a good thing. And then releasing forward. Let's walk forward, hand to hand, bringing them forward and finding a straight spine as long as you can. And then you go ahead and let your spine round and your chin come towards your chest. So you're rounding into that cervical spine as well. Checking into your legs and feet to see if we're staying active there. Breathing. And then walking ourselves back up and finding ourselves pushing ourselves away from the ground. You can get that pillow out of the way. And we're going to take a stand here. Going to stand in mountain pose. Finding ourselves with our feet parallel. So take a look down there. And we're about hips distance, and that's going to depend on each person's hips. Back in the day with Bikram, they used to say, take your fists and put them between your feet, and that's about hips distance, and that's pretty true, really. So you can check that out sometime if you'd like. And I was talking about my shirt, so I don't know if you can see, but it's a dog doing up dog on the inhale and down dog on the exhale. And they do some great motivating postures, especially in the morning. They do that. And then let's just take our fingers, open them up wide, and begin a little bit of rocking, trying to see where our balance is today. We're going to do a couple tree poses here, different versions. So just rocking and finding the height that we're able to rock up to. Maybe having a wall close by in case that rocking takes us in a place we don't want to go. A couple more times, and then if you can, see how long you can take that up and press down into the balls of your feet and activating your calves all the way up through your quadriceps into your core, arms, everything solid here. And then come on back down and walk out your knees and your hips just a bit here. I'm going to show you a different version of tree pose. And so what you'll do here is you'll take, and again, if you have a wall close by, that's great. You're going to take one foot to any place along the side of your leg, and maybe it's grounded. Maybe your foot's grounded and you're just at the ankle here. So that would be fine too. If you have the flexibility to move up higher, please do. Just don't go any higher than, don't press into your knee joint. You can go higher. You can come up into here. Or if you're able to hold on to your foot, and again, maybe there's a wall by you, then you can do that. But wherever you are, we're going to take the hand on the side of the foot that is doing something, and we're going to wrap it behind us. If you're holding on here, then you're going to attach it to your elbow in the back. If you're not holding on and your leg is just somewhere, you're still going to attach it to that elbow. So this is what I'm doing back here. I'm here and I'm attaching, okay? So any place you might be, maybe you're down here, doesn't matter, okay? Find yourself in this modified tree pose. It's a different form than what we've practiced before, but what you're still getting is that opening in the hip, and that's really what tree pose is working on, is balance, yes, but also opening of the hip. So press down solidly into that standing foot and find yourself in this different kind of tree pose here. But again, we're still working on that strengthening of the standing leg and the balance part and that hip opening, okay? And your breath, all right? Remembering breath. Couple breaths here. And then releasing. If you had your hand holding your foot, or if it was down at your ankle, release everything. And let's walk that out a bit, because we might be feeling that in that standing leg. Shake it out and walk it out. Find that hips distance again. And this time we're going to work with the opposite leg. So open up the hip. First part of any tree pose. Open up hip and knee, and then find your placement. This is an okay placement right here to have the ball of your foot on the ground. You can bring it up, just not on the inner knee, okay? You can hold it if your hip allows that, okay? Wherever you are, once you found your place, take the opposite, that same hand of the leg that's lifted, and bring it to the opposite elbow. find yourself pushing down on one side as you're lifting up through the crown of your head. And find yourself in your tristy, your gaze on something that's not moving, okay? And as you breathe, breathe into that hip that's opening. Breathe into your focused concentration of what balance is for you today. 2 more breaths here. Expanding through the belly, still on those breaths. Not going into the fear of just chest breathing, but really developing that full breath. Even when we're balancing. And then release. Hand, release foot. Walk it out just a bit here. And then we're going to come into 5-pointed star. So our feet open up wide. Our toes are forward. And that's different than if we're going to work in goddess pose. When we're working in goddess pose, we are having our feet angled out. So right now we have them toes forward and the sides are matching our mat, okay? And then our arms come out long here and wide, fingers open up wide. And I said yesterday when we did share that we would also do our warrior 1 and our warrior 2 together, but standing today. So let's take one set of toes in the direction towards the edge of your mat. And the other toes are going to stay, that foot is going to stay so that it is parallel to the edge of your mat. So toes pointing towards the mat, side of the foot at the edge of that mat. Arms come out nice and long and strong here, okay? And the nice thing here is you have kind of a mirror, right? Because you can see yourselves. So you can straighten those out. So if I'm kind of like this, don't want to be right now, I can be here. If I see my body to the side, I don't want to be, I can find myself really centered, okay? So that's a nice aspect here, because I know we don't have mirrors at Vessel Health, but some yoga studios do. So right now we have a straight leg, and we're going to take and bend into that front knee. And we're going to find the depth to where my front knee is bent and directly above that front ankle. And my back foot might need to stretch out. Remember yesterday we had the chair right underneath us. Here we don't. We're using the strength of our legs to maintain the position. Arms are out. We're going to inhale and we're going to lengthen that front leg. Arms come up, stretch the side body. Exhale. Take both hands in the opposite direction as strongly as you can as you bend into that front knee. Then inhale, lift, lengthen, exhale, come on down. Keep going, your breath pace here. Find yourself grow. When you come into the center, find yourself low and strong when you come forward into that bend, okay? This is your strong inhale. This is your strong exhale. Both about the same length. If you want, you can take that look towards your fingers when you bend into the knee. And when you come to the center, you can take your drishti forward, okay? Find what works for you, what feels right for you. You need to keep taking that back leg farther back because you're finding that you're able to come down a little bit lower and you don't want to bypass that front ankle with your knee, then please do that. Simple little flow here. Let's do it 2 more times. Nice, you guys, that looks great. And then ending here in your strong warrior 2. Fingers open wide, both sides of your body. And we're going to go into reverse warrior 2. So that back, first of all, now I'm going to move from center and I want to take and shift my body weight back. Okay, so shift it back and then let that back hand down that back leg, or wrap around my waist. Flip the other hand up and look up. Lengthen that side body now. Keep myself low here. Nice wrap. Good breath. Breathing into this exalted warrior two. And then finding ourselves upright again, centered, staying low in our knee here. And now shift your body weight forward. Bend that front arm, lay your forearm on your thigh. That's one option. Other arm comes up, nice and long, fingers open wide. So you can stay right here. If you like, you can extend that other arm down if you have more room to lengthen that side body, okay? So one side is opening, the other is contracting. Fingers open wide if you have both hands expressed. Breathing here. And then you can stay right here, you can extend, go into extended side angle, where your arm extends over, bicep comes close to your ear. You're feeling really strong in your feet and your legs here. Really strong in your breath. Because even though we hold the pose, we don't hold our breath. Arm lifts. And body slowly lifts back up. Warrior two. Straighten that front knee. And bring all the toes back so that they are facing forward. That's some work there. And let's take the other toes in the opposite direction, outward, checking into that leg on the back side to make sure that it's running parallel to the back of my mat. And my arms are nice and long and strong. I'm going to bend into that front knee, and I'm going to see if I'm able to activate it so that that knee and ankle are talking to one another. They're right above one another. Once I find that, and I know I can keep coming back to it, then I'm going to inhale, lifting, lengthen, exhale, express myself into warrior two. Inhale, lengthen. And come on down. Keep finding that for yourselves. We all might move in a little different pace because our breaths are a little different lengths. So be comfortable with that. Don't feel rushed or held back by what I'm doing. This isn't synchronized swimming. We don't all have to be looking exactly the same to get that roaring applause at the end. Our bodies are the ones that will give us that thanks for listening to it and listening to our breath. Let's do two more, please. And we'll meet back into bent legged warrior two. Really feeling comfortable here, feeling strong, feeling like we have the distance between our feet that we really want to maintain here. And keeping that depth also in that front knee. Let's go ahead and take our body torso back. You can see that happening. Take that back hand down the back leg. Maintain the depth here. Wrap around only if you like, and then release your hand upward, fingers towards the heavens. And as you exhale, maybe find yourself finding more depth in your front knee. As you inhale, lengthening up, fingers towards the ceiling. Exhale and inhale here. Few breaths. Maybe your hand starts to come back a bit, that upper hand, as you breathe. And then slowly finding yourself back from that exalted warrior two into your strong warrior two here. And now shifting body weight forward. Go ahead and bend into your front arm and just maintain that forearm there. And the other hand rises up. This is a great posture right here. Only if you feel like you want to go lower and your body says, yes, I've done this, so I feel like I can, you can slide the other hand down so that both of your arms are counterbalancing one another. One reaching down, the other reaching up. Back foot engaged solidly into your mat, especially the outside part of that back foot. Front foot nicely balanced there. You can begin to take an extended side angle here if you like, bringing that right arm, right bicep by your right ear. Breathing still here, maintaining good strength in our core always. It's not just in things like boat pose where we have to have a good strong core. It's everything we do. Then arm lifts back up if you extended. And coming back up. Take 2 breaths here. I know you want to get out of it. I do too. And then lengthen and straighten that front leg. Toes come back. Held it so long I can't even talk. And pull in your belly here. We're going to come halfway down so that I'm looking straight down. My neck is in alignment with my spine. Feeling that in my glutes, the back of my hamstrings, in my gastrocnemius, my calves, and then lifting up on an inhale. And exhale, let's come on down again. Nice length here in our spine. Your crown reaches towards my crown here. And inhale, lift up. And exhale, one arm comes down, the other one comes up. And we just come into a side bend here. Legs are straight, feeling that all the way up, that side body. Bring yourself back, airplane arms, but we're still in our 5-pointed star. And then let's come on over. Bringing the one hip out, squeezing into the opposite side. Letting ourselves exhale ourselves down. Pull in at the navel, be strong. Come on up, inhale. And now let's take our toes outwards. You know what that means. Gotta do some goddess pose. Before we do that, let's just let our hips go back and forth a little bit. Yeah. We might not have much time for goddess. I didn't realize it's already only 5 minutes to class. Let's just do some hips. Then, hip, 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 and let's go around again. And let's go ahead and take just a little bit of time to do some goddess work. I think that's a good way to find some closure here. Naming and claiming the goddess within. So lengthen here. Exhale. Come on down. Take it up on your inhale. And release on your exhale. Good. Inhale, lift. Keep going. Pulling back elbows and shoulders. Maybe finding a little more depth in our squat. A little more opening in our legs. Do 2 more. Having so much fun, I forgot to look at what time it was. My goodness. And let's go ahead and let our hands come down. Let's walk in our feet and find ourselves in mountain pose here. We're going to say thank you to our spine by moving it in all the directions here at the very end. So bend into your knees slightly. Take your hands onto your knees. Let's do cat-cow here. And look up. Inhale. Exhale. Curl, tuck, round. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more cycles. And then standing back up in mountain pose. We just did some opening side to side, but let's go ahead and just do a little bit of twisting here. Arms come out to the side, and let's take one arm forward, the other arm back as far as you can, kind of like a windmill. Coming back forward, and let's go opposite. Inhale is here. This is your exhale, twisting into the organs. Inhale and exhale. Let's do one more cycle of that, please. Feeling that in that center waist core area. And exhale, hands come down. And let's stand here in mountain and take some breaths together here. In and out through our nose. Eyes can close. Imagining that we're laying down on the ground as we did at the beginning in corpse pose. That's our horizontal resting place. This is our vertical resting place here, mountain pose, nice and easy. Feel your body just swaying a little bit. And that's just the natural energy, that prana, the life force that's so vibrant in each of us, especially after an hour of yoga. Feel your body being warmed by the movements that we did. Feel your body being calmed. Feel the stagnation that's been released. Feel your fingers maybe tingling a bit from that flow of prana and energy and chi. It's a lot of names in a lot of different languages. Let's take 2 full, slow, deep breaths together here. In and out through our nose. And then hands either in Anjali Mudra, heart center, or taking left and right hand over our heart space. Thank you all for being here today. Your presence is a blessing for me. It's gracing me. And I miss all of you and the ability that we have had in the past to take our hearts and meet one another in a heart-to-heart hug. That time will come back again where we can safely do that. So for now, just be really safe out there. Take care, whatever that is for you, and whatever that means for our community. Please be safe. From my heart to yours, in service. Namaste. And I will unmute us, and so that we can hear each other's voice again. Oi, before we say goodbye. I come back tomorrow to unmute. There we go. Wait a minute. Unmute. Unmute. There. Okay. So I come back tomorrow from being, oh, Denise, I didn't know you were here. So I didn't do a lot of chair modifications. I'm sorry.
It's not a problem. That's okay. I've learned enough. I did it fine.
Okay, good, good. I'm glad. That's nice to hear.